a UFC fighter who wholeheartedly supported President Donald Trump has finally turned on him. This is UFC Bantamweight contender Bryce Mitchell, who said last year, just last year, that he would be happy to take a bullet and die for Donald Trump. So that's how much of a MAGA guy he is, all right? But last week, he came out and was like, I think I may have made a mistake here, okay? He actually called Trump both corrupted and had likened him to the Antichrist. That's pretty significant, okay? So, I mean, talking about how, this guy might be the Antichrist.
It's the devil, okay?
Oh, wow. That's quite a turnaround there. Okay, so now, look, Mitchell, he's got some pretty extreme takes, okay? So this is not someone who's had a lib awakening, all right? No, he's an anti-vaxxer. He had once called Hitler a good guy, okay, and was forced to apologize for it. He's also a Holocaust denier. So, I mean, when you think about it, like, wait a minute, well, shouldn't this guy absolutely love Donald Trump? Well, he did. He did. But there are some very big issues that he has with Trump, okay? So, and there's a reason that he's losing these people. Now, in a post, I believe it's on Instagram, he wrote, I want to let y'all know I'm not with Donald Trump no more. I don't support him. I don't like him. I think he's a corrupted leader. And yeah, it took me a while to come to that conclusion, but I am finally coming to it. I do not like the guy at all. All right, strong statements. And he lays out some actually pretty compelling reasons for that. You're not going to be surprised. The first thing for me was that he didn't release the Epstein files. That's right. That's right. A lot of people over on the right are like, the Epstein files, I mean, you campaigned on that. You said you were going to release the Epstein files, and then you didn't. Well, that's because he's in the Epstein files. Okay. He added, quote, they're even acting like it didn't exist. Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, no, I've got the Epstein files right on my desk. And we're going to release them very, very soon. Oh, what Epstein files? There are no Epstein files. Just ignore it. No, nobody cares about Epstein anymore. No, let's just move on. Let's just move on. That's because he's in it. He's in the Epstein files. All right. But there's more. And then, of course, he says, they're sending Israel and Ukraine all of our tax dollars, just like the numbnuts before him did, putting America last. And he's referring, of course, to Joe Biden. Quote, and now he's blaming the beef farmers for the price of beef. I've talked about that, how really what's impacting beef prices, we got very, very small herds now, the result of drought, climate change, hey, that's a thing. And of course, the price of feed is much more expensive. There's less grazing land that you can use because of, again, drought and climate change. And so, yeah, cattle farmers not doing so well. And yet Trump's like, I did so much for you guys, for you cattle farmer. Why don't you just lower your price of beef? Well, they can't do that. They can't do that. So there are certain reasons, okay? And again, supply and demand, right? Their supply is low. Demand is still very high. And I'm sorry, but buying a whole bunch of beef from Argentina is not really going to do anything to help the farmers. And it's also really not going to help a whole lot of whole lot with the prices. So, yeah. But anyway, getting back to his quote here, his post, Mitchell says, quote, hey, I'm not biased, man. He talked a good game. He tricked me. I was fooled. I admit it. Well, then. And there you go. You kind of got to appreciate the honesty, at least. And look, I think that there is a subset of MAGA folks, okay, and maybe small, But I think that there's a subset of people that are starting to feel this way, but might be too afraid to speak out. I know I talk about how, yes, there's a lot of MAGA is basically a cult, okay? And even if people are unsure about what's going on, they can't just immediately leave the cult. I mean, look at Scientology. It's a great example of that, right? You just you just lose everything if you leave the cult, or if you try to leave the cult. And so I think that there are some people who are in that are having second thoughts, but they can't leave. They can't leave. And so they're afraid of what they're going to lose, all right? And on Israel, all right, a lot of lefties agree that, hey, we shouldn't be giving so much. We shouldn't be giving anything to Israel, honestly, especially when they were doing a genocide, okay? That country, by the way, they've got universal health care. We don't. Why are we subsidizing their health care, and when we can't even get health care for our own citizens? Doesn't make any sense. And why are we giving them all this money for weapons when they've shown that they're more than capable of being able to defend themselves? And not only that, but to wage war on innocent, Palestinians in Gaza. I mean, come on. Ridiculous. So look, I don't agree with a lot of these folks on a lot of issues, right? But there are some things that are kind of universal at this point. Where members of both parties can kind of get together and go, oh, yeah, I actually do agree with you. I mean, yeah, we shouldn't be giving Israel all this money and all these weapons. And look, when Marjorie Taylor Greene can come out and say things that make sense, like, yeah, we shouldn't be doing a genocide, and oh yeah, we shouldn't let the ACA tax credits expire at the end of the year and make everybody's health insurance costs go way, way up. We shouldn't be doing that. I mean, that's a great example of the universal things that we can agree on. Okay, so now that said, this is the best part. He goes on to quote the Bible, okay, as these people do. Quote, okay, let me tell you how bad I think this is, though. This is really this bad, guys. I want y'all, if you're a Christian, I want y'all to get into Revelation 13:3. I want you to read that verse about the Antichrist, about the one who was fatally wounded in the head, or ear, perhaps, but it wasn't a fatal wound. It wasn't a wound at all, but again, he's trying to draw that parallel, obviously. Then he was miraculously healed, and the whole world marveled at him and said, no man can make war with him. Yeah, I do think that Trump is that beast of Revelation 13:3. Yeah, go read it. There ain't another man that's ever walked a planet that fits Revelation 13:3. Then read the rest of the chapter, and it'll tell you the mark of the beast is coming. Oh my God. Literally. Now, I'm not saying I know that Donald Trump is this man of Revelation 13:3. I'm just saying he's the only one who could be right now. Look, I remember when right-wingers were like, Obama, mark of the beast. Not so much, okay? But I remember when they would talk about that. Not so much anymore, all right? Not so much anymore. Okay. He said, he's done to me. He's done. He's a goner. He's compromised. It sucks to say that because I supported him for a long time. But he's a good actor. And he had me fooled for a long, long time. God bless y'all, and thank you. Wow. Look, y'all know I'm not a religious person. I don't believe in any of this stuff. But there are some interesting parallels that you could draw with Trump and the Antichrist, or the great deceiver. Because one of the things that actually made me become an atheist is reading this stuff in the Bible. Okay. Nonetheless, let me read some of the things, some of the characteristics of the Antichrist. All right. For one, he will head up a kingdom, even an empire similar to other nation states or empires. Well, he's president of the United States. Okay. He will be a charismatic, lawless dictator who will deceive the world. I wouldn't say the world is deceived, but there are a lot of people on the, religious right specifically that have been deceived. Okay. And by the way, he's also working on being the lawless dictator. I mean, he's already ignored about 35% of court rulings made against him. So he's working on that. Quote, he will speak proud words and blasphemies. I mean, literally, like, all the time. Okay. I don't think I have to go into much detail about that one. He will redefine what is evil and what is good. He will promote doctrinal and ethical lawlessness. Look, I'm saying, not exactly fit, on everything, but there are a lot of things that can kind of fit. Now, the thing about biblical prophecy is that it's pretty vague on purpose, but there are a lot of people that could fit some of those descriptions, and Trump is one of those people, okay? But all I know for certain, okay, is that Donald Trump's not a good person based on his actions. I mean, his all-consuming greed, the amount of grifts that he has run, the lies, over 30,000 in his first term alone. His obvious lust for power, talking about running for a third term, like, no. By the way, the press needs to be like, no, that is completely illegal. We're not going to even talk about this. Patently unconstitutional and absolutely illegal. And we can also talk about him amassing power in the executive branch, which is what he's been doing, and of course punishing political enemies. Okay, these are not the actions of a public servant, but instead someone who expects the public to serve him. That's it. And the more people that start to see this and turn against it, to speak out against it, we might not have to agree on everything. But I think if you do have the bravery to go from I was a believer to, oh my God, I cannot believe, I can't believe that I fell for it, basically. Well, the more people that do that and turn against him, the better. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.